The blessing you are begging for would destroy you if it arrived today. Not because you are unworthy, not because God forgot your name, not because you did something wrong and this is the punishment, but because the person praying for it right now is not yet the person who could hold it. And somewhere underneath the waiting, you already know that. Napoleon Hill spent 10 years in the dark before the thing he was promised finally came. Broke, humiliated, watching everyone doubt him. And when it was over, he said the waiting was not a delay at all. It was the construction. By the end of this, you will understand exactly what the wait is building in you right now. The 3 things it is doing while you feel like nothing is happening, and why the people who understand this stop praying for the wait to end and start using it. Here is what the waiting feels like from the inside. It feels like being forgotten. You did the work. You said the prayer. You believed the way you were told to believe. And then, nothing. Days become months. The door you keep knocking on stays shut, and the silence on the other side starts to feel personal, like the universe singled you out to be the one who does everything right and still gets nothing. That feeling is real, but the story you have wrapped around it is a lie. Because the wait is not empty. It only looks empty from where you are standing. Hill discovered this the hard way, and he wrote it into the most important sentence in Think and Grow Rich, a sentence most people read straight past. He said that every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The seed, not the flower. A seed you cannot see, planted in a season that feels like loss. The wait is not the absence of the blessing. The wait is the blessing in seed form, growing underground where you cannot watch it. And here is the first thing to understand, and you can feel it in your own life if you look back honestly. Every good thing you have ever received too early, you damaged. The money that came before the wisdom, the relationship that came before you healed, the opportunity that came before you were ready. You have proof in your own history that arriving early is not a mercy. It is a setup for a loss you would have caused yourself. Think about who you were 3 years ago. The things you wanted then, the way you would have handled getting them. If every prayer you prayed 3 years ago had been answered on the spot, you would be living inside the consequences of a person who no longer exists, making decisions you have since outgrown. The unanswered prayer was not a rejection. It was the room you needed to become someone whose prayers were worth answering. So the wait is protection. That is the first reframe. Now let me show you what it is actually doing. Let me tell you about the decade nobody talks about. Before Think and Grow Rich sold tens of millions of copies, before the seminars and the legacy, Napoleon Hill spent roughly 10 years in what he called his own personal wilderness. He had been handed the assignment of his life by Andrew Carnegie to organize the philosophy of success, with no salary and no guarantee. And for years, it looked like a fool's errand. He lost businesses. He lost money he did not have. His reputation took hit after hit. There were stretches where he did not know how he would eat, while he kept working on a book the world had not asked for and did not believe in. He wrote later that during this period he was betrayed, broke, and so low that he seriously questioned whether the whole thing had been a delusion. And in the middle of that darkness, in Outwitting the Devil, he described the strangest turn of all. He said that at his lowest point, something in him he called his other self finally spoke. A deeper self that had been waiting silently the entire time. And that self did not panic. It simply took over and began to direct him with a calm he had never felt when things were going well. Here is the part that matters for you. That other self could only emerge because everything else had been stripped away. The confidence, the money, the applause, the easy version of himself. The weight burned all of it off. And what was left underneath was the man who could actually write the book. He could not have been handed the success first. The success would have gone to the shallow version of him and been wasted. The weight built the deep version who could carry it. Stay with me, because I am about to give you the 3 specific things your waiting season is doing to you right now. And the third one is the reason most people quit exactly 1 season before the thing they wanted arrives. Here is the mistake almost everyone makes in a waiting season. They treat it as dead time. Time to be endured, complained through, wished away. They put their life on pause and wait for the real life to start once the blessing shows up. And in doing that, they waste the single most productive season they will ever be given. Because the first thing the wait is building is capacity. Think of it plainly. A blessing is a weight. More money is a heavier weight than less money. More influence, more responsibility, more people depending on you. All of it is weight, and you cannot hand a heavy weight to someone who has not built the strength to hold it. Or you break them with the very thing they asked for. You already know this is true because you have watched it happen. The person who got rich fast and lost it all faster. The one who got the platform before the character and self-destructed in public. The lottery winner bankrupt in 3 years. They did not lack the blessing. They lacked the capacity to hold it, and the blessing became the thing that crushed them. Hill said the same law that governs muscle governs the soul. Resistance builds strength, and there is no other way strength gets built. So the weight, with all its resistance, is the only gym that could possibly prepare you for the weight you are asking to carry. Which means the question to ask in the wait is not when will this be over? It is what capacity is this building? And am I training or am I complaining? Because the wait will build you either way. It will make you bitter or it will make you strong. And you get to choose which, starting today. The second thing the wait is doing is quieter and more painful, and in the long run more valuable than the first. The wait reveals who and what actually belongs in your life. When everything is going well, you cannot tell the difference between the people who are with you and the people who are with your momentum. The wait tells you instantly. The ones who drift away when you have nothing to offer were never yours. They were attached to your usefulness, and the wait mercifully removes them before you build your whole life around people who would have left the moment it got hard anyway. The wait is not just building you, it is clearing the ground around you. Hill learned this in his dark decade. The people who vanished when he was broke were the ones who would have taken credit when he was rich. And the few who stayed, the ones who believed in the work when there was no evidence, those were the relationships that carried the rest of his life. He could not have known which was which, until the weight showed him. And it is not only people. The weight reveals which of your own desires were real and which were borrowed. The dreams that fade when they get hard were never yours. You absorbed them from someone else, and the weight burns them off so you are not building your one life on a goal you never actually wanted. What survives the weight is what is real. What dies in the weight was going to die anyway. Better now, in seed, than later, after you have built everything on top of it. So the second reframe, the weight, is not taking things from you. It is showing you what was never truly yours, so that what remains is something you can trust. A blessing given to you, surrounded by the wrong people, is not a blessing. It is a target. The weight clears the room first, then opens the door, and in that order it is a mercy even when it feels like abandonment. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked back at a delay that devastated you at the time and realized later that if it had gone your way, you would have missed the thing that actually changed your life? The job you did not get, that freed you for the one you did. The relationship that ended, that made room for the right one. The plan that collapsed, that redirected you onto a road you could not have found on your own. Every honest person has a list like this. You can probably name 2 or 3 right now without trying. And that list is proof of the third thing the weight is doing, the one that is almost impossible to see from inside it. Because at the time, every item on that list felt like a catastrophe. It was only later, standing on the other side, that you saw it was a redirection. The weight you are in right now will be on that list someday, and you will wonder how you ever thought it was the end. The weight is aligning your blessing with a timing you are not able to see. Hill wrote about what he called infinite intelligence, the organizing force behind things, and he was convinced that it operated on a schedule that human impatience simply cannot perceive. What feels like a closed door is often a delay that is positioning you and everything else to arrive at the same point at the same moment. Move too early and you miss the alignment. The weight is not the enemy of the timing. The weight is the timing. And here is why this is the one that makes people quit. Because you cannot see it. Capacity you can feel building. Relationships clearing you can observe. But timing is invisible until it is complete, which means the wait always feels longest and most pointless right before it ends. The darkness is deepest just before the door opens, and that is precisely when most people walk away one season early from a thing that was almost finished. Before I tell you what to do in the wait, I have to warn you about the one thing that ruins it: forcing the door. When the wait gets long enough, there is a temptation to make something happen, to take the lesser version of the blessing just to end the discomfort. The wrong job because you cannot stand the waiting. The wrong person because being alone got heavy. The shortcut, the compromise, the thing that looks like your blessing but is a cheaper copy that showed up early. Hill was blunt about this. He said the majority of people fail within one step of their goal, not because the goal was impossible, but because they grabbed a substitute in the final stretch of the wait. They quit the real thing to hold a fake one, and then spent years wondering why the fake one never satisfied. The wait has an exit that is not the door. It is the side door of settling, and it is always open, and it always looks like relief. Do not take it. A blessing forced early is just an early loss, wearing the blessing's face. So what do you actually do with a waiting season instead of enduring it? 3 things. They are simple, and they are the opposite of what most people do. First, work as if the answer is already yes. Hill's entire method rested on acting in faith before the evidence arrived. He wrote the book as though it would succeed for 10 years, while it showed no sign of succeeding. Do not wait for the blessing to start becoming the person who can hold it. Build the capacity now, in the dark, so that when the door opens, you walk through it ready instead of scrambling. Second, guard your mind at the lowest point. Hill said the dark season is exactly when the wrong thoughts find you, because you are tired and open, the same way he described in Outwitting the Devil. Bitterness, envy, the story that you have been forgotten. Those thoughts do not just feel bad. They rot the capacity the weight is trying to build. So in the wait, more than any other time, you choose what you feed your mind, on purpose, every day. Third, look for the seed. In every hard thing in your current season, Hill said, there is a seed of equal or greater benefit, but it does not announce itself. You have to look for it. So look. What is this delay teaching you? What is it protecting you from? Who is it revealing? What capacity is it building? Ask those questions, and the wait stops being a punishment and becomes the most honest teacher you will ever have. Work as if it is yes. Guard your mind. Look for the seed. That is not how you survive a wait. That is how you use one. Here is what changes when you understand all of this. The waiting does not get shorter, but it stops being suffering, because suffering is pain without meaning, and you now know the meaning. You know the wait is building capacity, clearing the ground, and aligning a timing you cannot see. You know the blessing withheld is the blessing being protected until you can hold it. And you stop doing the thing that costs people everything. You stop quitting one season early, because now, when the darkness gets deepest and every voice says, give up, you recognize that feeling for what it is, not the end. The moment right before the door. Napoleon Hill walked through 10 years of that darkness and came out holding the thing that outlived him by a century. He did not get it because the wait ended. He got it because the wait made him into someone who could carry it. And the same thing is happening to you right now, in the season that feels like nothing is happening. Something is happening. It is just happening underground, where seeds grow. So here is what I want you to take with you. The blessing is not late. You are being built. The wait is not God ignoring you. It is God refusing to hand you something that would break the person you are today, while quietly making you into the person it will not break. Work as if the yes is already coming. Guard your mind in the dark. And look, in this exact season, for the seed of the greater thing, because Hill promised it is always there, and he staked his entire philosophy on it being true. You are still here at the end of this, and that tells me something. The people who quit do not make it this far. You are the kind who stays in the dark long enough to see what it was building. So stay. Your season is not empty. It is almost done. If this reached you at the right moment, the channel has a new lesson every single day, and tomorrow's may be the one you needed most. Everything here comes from Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil, both linked below.